Hey, Lauren.
I gotta pee so bad.
Okay, I'm going to try and mute everyone here. What?
Yeah, she's able to.
Okay. Okay, I unmuted you, Lauren.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I saw your puppy. Or there's your dog again. What kind of dog do you have?
I have two, and they're both pit bulls.
My dog will probably make an appearance at some point. Usually she does.
Mine are slightly bigger than yours, I think.
Yes. She's tiny.
Mine are not lap dogs.
She thinks she's big. She thinks she's big. Do it. I haven't opened it. Will you answer it for me? Is it all it works, or will you answer it for me? Okay. You guys, it's so funny. My husband, when I'm on a Zoom, it never fails. It's like a gift and a curse. But someone, while I'm on a Zoom, like a potential distributor or a customer, will message me, and I'll be like, oh, in the middle of it, and so I'm doing sign language with my husband, trying to get him, and I'll be like. So anyway, it never fails. So those that he just said, he was like, "Did you just see for April James?" And I was like, "Answer her." We're trying to be urgent, but we play it cool at the same time. We're like, "Oh, did you need something? Because I was really been wanting to talk to you."
Well, we can get started, and people can jump on.
Yes.
Just so we don't waste your time.
And I know it's early for you guys, and then it's on our side. For me, this is perfect timing because I'm a night owl. But
what time is it for you?
It's 9:34.
Okay, it's 8:30 for me, but I think some people on here it's 9:30 for them too. So
yes, perfect. Well, hello everyone.
Hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to do this for us.
My pleasure.
So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your story and how you found It Works.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, and then that way you guys can ask questions from there. But in a nutshell, my journey with It Works started the very last week of March. I was promoted to Diamond 39 days from there, and then almost into my third month with the business is when I promoted to Double Diamond. So it's been a crazy, wild ride. But when I joined the business, I had no intentions ever. I don't even know that I believed that there could be real income. I was most concerned with earning enough money to pay for a cleanse because I had had a health and wellness journey. I had lost right around 90 pounds, and I knew of It Works, but all I really knew about it was the wrap, and kind of had a sour taste in my mouth about it because of the way it was often marketed with the word skinny always turned me off. So it wasn't really, it took quite some time for me to actually pay attention to the fact that we had products beyond just the wrap. And when I did, we were in a really tough financial spot. To the point we could not afford a cleanse, and which I guess my pride kind of got in the way, and I think a lot of times it does when we're talking to potential customers. But anyway, I didn't have the heart to tell that distributor that I didn't have the money, and I was too prideful. So I got really quiet, right? Because that's what they do. They just start ignoring us. And then she came back and said, well, were you interested in ordering as a little customer or as a distributor? And that was the first time I'd ever even given thought to it. And so my first thought was, okay, cool. I could, do it as a distributor and earn enough money to pay for this cleanse. Like, that would be fantastic. And then she sent me the income chart, which anything beyond a distributor level, I was like, oh, that's a scheme. Like, nobody really earns any money with these kinds of things, right? But I thought, man, like, what if I could just earn an extra $200 a month? Because of such a difficult, we were in such a difficult financial position. The $200 a month, y'all, was like, it would have been like winning the lottery. Okay. So, I was like, even if this is a scam, even if this is a complete like hot mess, if I at least make my money back for the cleanse, this is a win. Right. So in that going back and forth with her with conversations, like I was Googling things about it works, learned so much more than like what we typically just see on our social media profiles, and kind of like fell in love like with the idea and the brand and videos that I had seen of Mark and the concept all in like that first 24 hours. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I needed to make back my money for the enrollment kit because my husband was going to kill me. And we couldn't afford the cleanse, let alone like the enrollment kit and the cleanse that I ordered on our credit card. So I knew that I needed to make that money back, and I knew that I just needed to go find customers. I didn't understand the compensation plan. I didn't know what a Ruby chart was. I didn't believe that the diamond bonus was real. I was just like ignorance on fire. And that's kind of how I got started and how I am where I am now. Do you want to ask me questions from there?
Sure. So
Okay.
how did you choose the distributor that you went with? Like, was it just her posting, or tell me about that?
This is funny because she was blocked. A lot of people ask me this. So the distributor that I enrolled with was, we actually were fitness instructors together at one point. And if you guys were on the show that Show Me the Money call last night, Dee Brooke, she was one of the people on the Show Me the Money call last night. But you guys, she posted so consistently, I blocked her because I was like, ugh. Every day, like, why do they need to post about their business every day? And so and especially when I could, like, it was literally copied and pasted. Like, I was convinced that It Works must give you guys like scripts every morning, and that everyone was like required to post that. I was like, okay, and today it's this. So one day, I guess when I was just in a bad place with myself, I decided I'm going to block these distributors. And they kept popping up, of course, thank God, because had they not, this one random person that I saw, and you guys, I don't even know who it was. Like, it's kind of horrible. But that goes to show how important it is that we are consistent. Because when I saw that and I started Googling the product, my first thought was to go to this particular person because you guys, she had branded herself so well. And she had, I knew she was consistent. She had previously shared her success with the business, like, how she was able to leave her full-time job. She was able to retire her husband. I thought all of that was crazy before, but I thought, if I'm going to get this from anybody, this girl's going to know. And so I text her. It wasn't even on Facebook at first. I had to unblock her to get to communicate with her eventually that way. So yeah, that's how and why I went with her.
Nice. So I just know this just from being on the Triples page with you, but you had a baking business before this, right?
Yes. Yes. And if you guys if you follow me on, or you're friends with me on Facebook still, you'll see we do still bake. So when I started, we had both an Etsy shop and an in-home commercial baking. And I worked on average about 90 hours a week. I would work overnights every Tuesday and Friday. And it's funny because like a lot of people are like, well, I want to hear this. I want to hear a story of someone doing this that was working. Okay. So not only was I working, you guys, but let me tell you, I was working with my hands, both of them. Do you know how hard it is to text when both of your hands are covered in like royal frosting and butter and your whole house is a hot mess and you haven't slept? Like, it's hard. Thank God for like voice memos, because I couldn't just like I couldn't do a power hour. I couldn't sit with my phone for an hour. That didn't exist. Like, there were days I couldn't even take a shower, let alone sit down with my phone. So yes, it can be done while you're working.
So do you feel like that helped you? Like, I know you've said that you have like almost the max amount of Facebook friends. Did you have that many friends when you first started just because of your baking business, or did you grow your network after you joined this? And how do you grow your network if you?
No, I definitely grew my network. Now I did have, so when I first joined the business, I was at around 2,000 friends, which I do realize like everyone has a different kind of starting point. You know, some people are like, well, I only started with 500 friends. Okay. The biggest learning was just to continue to add and grow to the network. And it's not who you know when you start, it's who you're willing to meet. And so since then, yes, now I've added about 3,000 friends. Like I'm in the process now where I have to go in and unfriend, which sounds so harsh. It's so harsh. You guys, if I unfriend you and you're friends with me, it's not personal. But I have unfriended people, so I'm able to add and build to that network. But I would say that we had a separate business page for the bakery. And a lot of people ask about that. A lot of people are like, well, now that I have the, you know, my works business, I should have a separate page because that shouldn't be in my personal page. And it's funny because yes, I did have a separate page for the bakery business, but it was for a couple of different reasons. A, we were able to register it with Google Businesses. So when people could like, you know, use Google Maps to get here for pickups. And then we did it because that's how our order forms were done. You guys, I shared pictures of my cakes and cookies all the time. And I shared this scenario with my team the other day. And these are people that were local at my team, but we meet at Starbucks on Fridays. And one of them was like, well, I'm just so like, what if people get tired of seeing like what I'm doing all the time? And I was like, I used to share photos of cookies and cakes every single day. Do you think I ever got on anybody's nerves? And they were like, no. You guys, they would get like tons of likes. And so I'm like, so what is the difference? Because both are my work. Both were me promoting products. Both were me trying to get sales, because I would say I have 10 dozen chocolate chip cookies for $20, comment or message me to claim. And people did. So like, where was that disconnect at? And there's a disconnect or this like small little bridge there because of pride. We're afraid of either A, admitting, hey, I need help with my health and I'm insecure where I'm at, or we have pride of, ooh, I really do want that product, but I can't afford it. And I'm too afraid to tell this crazy rap girl that I can't afford it because she's making 6 figures a month or whatever. Or we as distributors have a problem with our pride because we put a feeler or a post out there, no one likes it, and we start getting inside our heads thinking no one's interested. But really, they're on the other side doing all those things I just told you that they were doing because we did them, right? We all did them. And that's the difference between people having comfort and saying, yes, I want the cookies for $10 or $20 versus saying, hey, yes, I'm going to say out loud, I need to lose 20 pounds or I want to work on my stretch marks. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it's totally different. I think that the demographics are different. I think that the business marketing of how I expanded the networks were different, but the business strategies were very much the same and aligned. So I think that made an easier transition for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you've been in the business since March?
The last week of March, yes.
So how did you, I mean, I've been in it for over a year now, and I think I've added like maybe 1,500 friends. Like, how do you add 3,000 friends in a few months' time?
Okay, so my favorite way in the beginning, it was just with like suggestions, like Facebook suggestions of people in common. So I did that, and then when I started getting to people like that I really didn't even know, that was when I was like, okay, I need to realign this. So my second way that I did it was through common groups of interest. So either like it can be moms, it can be furniture, it can be, I mean, anything that is legit your hobby, you guys. Find it. It can be Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. I am part of a Harry Potter group. Disney, it can be whatever, okay? So something that you love. And then go in and legitimately form relationships with these people. I was already a part of some of these groups because like from my favorite bands to, like I said, Harry Potter. So I never ever, and to this day, haven't ever gone in and been like, ooh, let's talk about it works. That's not what that's for. But what I would do is form a relationship with them to the point of where I can then add them as a friend into my network, right? And then I would go in and look at like my schools that I went to, towns that I grew up in, the college that I went to, extracurricular activities that I did when I was growing up, and trying to find different ways to connect from there. And then last but not least is my favorite way, and probably the way that I add the most friends, but it's when I sign a loyal customer. When I sign a loyal customer, I then go into their friends page. And if we have anyone in common, and your number can be whatever your level of comfort is. So maybe 5 friends, maybe 50 friends. But how many friends do you need in common to feel comfortable friend requesting this person? And I go through and I request all of those friends. So some scenarios I find out like, holy moly, we have tons of people in common with over 100 people, like mutual friends. So it's cool because when I do like finally reach out to them or their page, I'll be like, such a small world. We've never met, but we have over 100 friends in common. And then we can start, making a conversation. We're still not talking about how it works. I'm just building a relationship with a complete stranger. And that's even a scenario now, like where it expands into other states. And then we figure out, okay, how are we connected? I also added, if there was a friend on my husband's friends list that I was not friends with, they were game. Like they were getting added. The reason, though, that I choose the loyal customers and how I choose them that way is because our goal is to get them a successful result, right? So we want them to either A, have a noticeable result where their friends start asking, or B, be so excited about it that they're going to share it. And when they share it, their friends already have some distributors that are on their Facebook page. Like, you just got to embrace that and know that there are going to be other distributors out there in the world, right? But if your friend straight up out of her mouth says, oh my gosh, Lindsay is my rap girl. She taught me how to do it. Don't put on lotion when you get out of the shower, and they're talking about it. Who am I going to go get a rap from? I'm going to go get a rap from Lindsay. I'm going to know that there's all these people out there on Facebook that have never talked to me before or don't know my name or whatever. But if my best friend just told me that Lindsay told her how to get the good stuff, then I'm going to go to Lindsay. And I'm going to either A, connect with her on Facebook or be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I think she sent me a friend request. Cool. So utilizing your loyal customers' friends is a great, great way to build your network.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know you built super fast. So how did you, like for me, when I first started, I could get loyal customers really easily, but it was distributors that I struggled with just because people, I didn't have this awesome story. And I mean, I was unsure of it myself, like let alone, bringing people on. And I think a lot of people like to watch and see, well, I'll wait and see if you are successful and then I'll jump on board. So how did you do that in the beginning?
Well, it took me 3 weeks to sign my first distributor. And my very first one never even logged into her eSuite. I always tell people this. Like, she joined the, like, distributors protection or whatever, okay? Like, fell off the face of the planet. And then my husband was my second one. And we had to wait that long to enroll him because we couldn't afford it. And then finally, my third, and she's one of my dearest friends. Like, I knew her growing up, and she was one of the first people that I reached out to. But finally she joined me and said yes. And it's important to know that for those 3 weeks, it wasn't like I wasn't asking people, because I'm a very, I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but like, if you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm very, okay, let's make a list. Let me follow up. Well, I had listened to training videos. I told you I couldn't use my hands in the beginning, but I could listen to YouTube. And so I would like Google Airworks training videos, because I had already listened to all the ones on the eSuite. I listened to them the very first day. And anyway, everyone kept talking about this hundreds list. So I thought, like, okay, 1 through 100. These could be potential loyal customers. These could be potential distributors. I would write down beside it, and I would write down why or what I think they would be interested in. I literally reached out to every single one of these people. Again, thank God for voice memos. And for talk to text. But so this particular person, she was, I think, literally the 5th person. She told me no. She told me no 3 more times. We kept talking back and forth about it. Her husband was like, no way. She had tried 31 before. And anyway, so she kept talking. And then finally one day she came back and she was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. Like, I've kept thinking about this. I've kept praying about it. I'm going to do it. And that was kind of when everything changed. That was momentum, you know? But I was very much like you in that I thought, I have no idea what I'm doing. Why would anyone join me? I haven't made any money. Why would anyone join me? I don't know that I'm going to make any money. Why would anyone join me? And I got inside my head, right? And I think when we start saying to ourselves, I can't recruit a distributor, you can't recruit a distributor. So it's not about like where you're at or how much money you're making, it's where you're going. And you hear that a lot, and I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth, because at that point, I still didn't know where I was going. At that point, I was just still praying that I was going to make back my money for my distributor enrollment kit, right? So I was like, I wasn't thinking about Ruby. I wasn't thinking about Diamond at that point. But in that week, it was like, my husband and I joke, and we're like, I mean, it was seriously like the heavens opened up, and all of those people, you guys, that I reached out to from that first week of that hundreds list, they started coming in, and they started asking questions, and they started saying yes. And so I was very fortunate. Heather is my dear friend, one of the first people that joined me. She had done the same thing. She had her hundreds list, and all of these people, you guys, started coming in. And so did we both go out and recruit 12 distributors to, chart me for Diamond? No, that's not what happened at all. It was each of us went and got like 1 or 2, and then they went and got 1 or 2, and then they went and got 1 or 2. And we went from being an executive or boxed for executive, not even promoted to executive, to Emerald in like less than a week. And then we went from Emerald to Diamond in the same day. And that's just how insane momentum is. And once you kind of can catch that vision, and you can find people that do it, that want it with you and get excited about it with you. And a lot of people are doing a little bit of work. That's the beautiful thing about network marketing. If you look at a Diamond chart and you ever say, how am I ever going to do all of this? How am I ever going to have that many distributors? How am I going to ever have that many loyal customers? You won't. Period. Like you won't. But when you start breaking it down and you think, okay, how can we, and how can I serve my team? How can I work for and with my team? And together we achieve this. Like, I think that's when everything changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome. Because when you look at like the bigger charts, you just like, it's very overwhelming. If you think about it in terms of doing it all yourself, but that's not what this business is about. It's about teamwork. And once you get everyone, doing their part, it's really easy to promote. It's just getting people who all see the vision and, put in the work. All right. So let's talk about enrollments, because you're like a loyal customer queen. So what are your biggest tips? Like, how do you sign a loyal customer a day?
Well, I try. I really think it's different every single day, because I can tell you something that worked like yesterday that seems to not be getting anything that the next day. But this is what I can tell you. I can tell you that most of the loyal customers and it's very different from my first month. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you right now is current, and I'll go back and tell you what I did my very first month. But loyal customers that I'm signing right now are loyal customers that I started talking to 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 weeks ago, or whatever. Now, every now and then, is there one that like, I met you today, we're talking today, I signed you today? Yes, every now and then. But most of those are seeds that have been planted and nurtured and cultivated over time. And that was something I had to learn, and there was kind of this learning curve. But that first month is what we call like your warm market, and that's when like you're posting and people are responding and customers are kind of coming to you, or at least for me it was that way with like my first 10 loyal customers. I did have a business launch party where customers or potential loyal customers could come, and I also didn't know what I was doing there. That was total ignorance on fire, but they were at least able to see and touch, and we could learn together. So my very first month, it was just posting, and it was posting you guys when I could. And I was trying really hard, but I set a standard for myself that I would post at least 3 times a day. That was something that I had heard in a training video. But what I was absolutely committed to was not being like, once I learned that there was not a script that It Works gave us every single day that we had to post, I was like, what in the world have these people been doing? Like, why are they doing that? I was determined. I mean, just bound, set, and determined that my content was going to be original, and that my message would not be so different or not off-putting, because I don't think anyone ever intends them to be off-putting, but I needed it to be authentic. Because for me, on the other side of the screen, and I say screen because most of our business is on social media, or at least for me, especially in the beginning, it was, if I felt like I was friends with someone and then their personality disappeared once they became an It Works distributor, right? That some people have this fear, or they have this concept that that's what happens, because they have that concept because that's what has happened. So I was just determined that like that couldn't happen. I didn't have to be like that in order to be successful. Or if I did, then it wasn't worth it to me. Like if I was going to have to compromise that, then I wasn't okay with that. So that just meant that I had to get creative in the different ways to share it in my life. Now, remember, I had never tried an It Works product before the day that I enrolled to be a distributor. So that first, 512 days before we get our shipments, because it was standard shipping, right? It felt like forever, like Christmas coming. I had to use the tools and resources that we had outside of my own personal testimony. I didn't have results. I didn't have before and after photos of my own. I didn't even try a wrap, y'all, until I was in the business almost 2 months before I even tried a wrap. So I had to get really creative in how I would introduce these products into my life. And I had to be okay with being kind of exposed and raw and able to share flaws and able to kind of suppress my pride and say, hey, yes, we needed support financially. We were in a tough place and I'm doing something about it. I had to say, yes, I'm struggling with weight. Yes, I lost 90 pounds, but I gained 30 back. I need to lose it. So I had to do some things that felt uncomfortable, but in turn I grew. And I think because of that, I was able to connect with so many people, because I didn't put on this facade like it was sunshine and roses and that, oh my gosh, I'm losing 12 pounds already and I love these products, because I was very open and honest in that I've never tried this cleanse before. I've been dying to try it. We couldn't afford it. I joined as a distributor. And I think people appreciated that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I hope I didn't digress too much from that, but I think that's what made it different.
Yeah. So you feel like posting is, I mean, do you post and ask, or
Yes.
where do you
So I think posting consistently is so important because of the reason, like I said in the very beginning, I think at some point in some time, they're going to see an It Works post. They're going to see an It Works post from multiple distributors. Your goal is for them to think of you when that time comes in their life that they decide they need one of our products. You want them to be like, okay, I've seen this distributor, and this distributor. I'm either A, ready to join the business, who's serious and who do I want to join with, or who seems to know and really passionate about these products, who do I want to buy from. So that's the reason why I think posting is so important. Even you guys, even during the times like when life is hard. Like we lost my grandfather a couple of weeks ago and our life was crazy. There were days they would be like 11 o'clock at night and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted yet. But I would somehow figure out a way to get it in because I think people are waiting for us to fall off the face of the planet, right? We all have those people that are like on fire for the business and then 2 weeks later, nothing.
Right.
So I think people will anticipate that. And if that happens, even if that only happens for a week, I would, if it were me and I go back to like my journey, I would think about that. I'd be like, well, wait a minute, is she even still selling? I'm not sure. And that could make the difference as to whether or not I signed with you or I signed with someone else. But yes, I also ask. I used this analogy the other day. It's not like I'm like shooting without a target though. I'm not like, let me create this copy and paste message and like mass send it out in alphabetical order. Mm-hmm. I do think that there's no such thing as a cold message if it's sent with a warm heart. Somebody on our triples page said this and I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I do believe that every single person in this world could benefit from these products. I do believe that these products changed my life. I do know that this business opportunity changed my life. And I think that I'm doing myself and them a disservice if I don't extend or offer that to every single person I come in contact with. Now, the way in which I choose to do that may vary with every single person, but am I going to do it? You better bet. So if I added them as a friend that day, am I immediately going to be like, hey girl, I love your profile picture. Do you want to join an IJ product? Not going to do that. So I usually try to make sure that I had some type of interaction on their profile in some way, shape, or form. And even if I don't have some type of like warm relationship with them, meaning we've never officially met, we may never have had a conversation back and forth on their profile, but I have at least liked something. I've at least commented on something. We've been friends for at least a week or, you know, something along those lines. I am not crazy organized with how long we've been friends and things like that. I wish that I could be. I have people on my team that are rock stars they're like, oh, we were friends on the 12th and I commented and now I'm messaging her. Like, I am not like that. Especially with loyal customers. But so if there's some type of interaction, if they've liked a post, if they've commented on a post, if they make some type of comment about, I don't know, joining, you know, a gym or a keto recipe or something that gives me like a big red flag, then yes, I will message them. But if it's outside of that, usually it's after we have some type of established relationship, like I said, a comment or a like. And I do send them a message, and it's a really general message. And these are the tips that I've had the most success from in regards to sending a message. Lead with results that are about them. It's not about you, and it's not about the products. If you message someone and you say, hey girl, you want to try my ThermoFit Fat Fighter and wraps? They're like, I don't know what ThermoFit Fat Fighter and wraps are, but you're a crazy wrap girl, and I have a name, and it's not Hey Girl. That's what they're thinking, you guys, because that's what I used to think. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, no girl. But if someone came to me and said, Hey, Lauren, I saw that you were playing Clue with Bella Grace last night. Oh my gosh, I love that game. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm building my business right now. I'm doing 90-day challenges. Do you or anyone you know, or would you or anyone you know be interested in growing out your hair, having a daily detox to improve skin and debloat your belly, or tightening and toning in 45 minutes or less? I'd be like, heck yes, like all of it. Can I have it all? Because that's my language. Like, I understand what that is. But if you talk to me about fat fighter, I'm like, are you calling me fat? Like, I don't know what that is. So lead with results, you guys, and you'll get a dramatic difference in your responses. I had to learn this the hard way because I used to just completely word vomit on people. If people are going silent on you, it's probably because you're word vomiting. But I've had to learn to keep it short and sweet and then to only answer questions that they're asking. That was a great tip that one of my mentors gave me in the beginning when I was like, I'm sending people messages and they're not answering me. That was why. I don't even know that they would finish reading the books that I sent them. But yeah, so I message and I will comment and interact. I do, the standard birthday thing. I also think that I had a big change in my business when I started understanding that the initial message and the initial post was not to get an immediate result. That the message even then is to get in their algorithm. It's to get in their thought process. They may not be interested in one of those goals right now. But everyone will be at some point. Everyone at some point in their life is going to want to improve their health in some way, their energy levels, or they're going to know someone who is. And even if not then, like I said before, your goal, if you make your number one goal to be the distributor that they think of when they decide they will use these products, then you're going to be successful. Because if that's the mission, then the timeline becomes irrelevant and it will all fall into place because you'll be doing the right things to kind of get ready for the harvest, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you guys don't already follow Lauren, I suggest it because I didn't even know you. I just saw that you were like killing it with enrollment. So I was like, I got to follow this girl. And your posts are so, you can tell like you don't copy and paste any post. Like it's all very authentic and you just have a way of like not being spammy at all, but still like it works into your posts. So I love your posts.
Well, thank you. And you guys, you can, and I tell people this all the time, like, I think it's okay. Like, I'm not saying it's not okay to take someone's post and be inspired by it and spin it and twist it and use it into your life. Because I think like you should be inspired by things that other people are saying, but think about how it does apply to your life because someone who's reading it is going to do that again. They're going to be reading your post and be like, oh my gosh, that's relevant and it does apply to my life. And I think it's also so important to let potential team members know you don't have to be this, I post 15 times a day. I'm going to post constantly how much money I'm making. I'm going to, like anything that may have ever put a negative taste in your mouth or anything that may have a distributor's ever given you a pushback on. Like, if you ever talk to anyone and they've been like, well, I don't want to do it because of X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't want to bother my friends or I don't want to be spammy. The reason they're feeling that way is because someone somewhere did. And if you're able to coach them around that, or if you're able, because I will go back to people and say, oh, I'm sorry, like, am I salesy? Was I spammy? Because, like, I want that feedback. And guess what? They're like, well, no. And I'm like, awesome. Okay, well, let's have a conversation about that then, because I think I've been successful in this business, and let's talk about how we can be the change. Like, let's talk about it. So I think it's totally okay to see posts and be inspired by them. But you do not have to see what one ambassador is posting and then like copy and paste it for 1,000 distributors later.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so you obviously you enroll a ton of customers every month, so you probably have a ton of active customers. So how do you, I mean, I'm sure I don't have half as many active customers as you do at one time. How do you like keep track of all of them and make sure that they, know that they're not just a number to you? I mean, do you like follow up with everyone before their auto ship runs, and like how do you even manage everything?
Oh my goodness. In the beginning, yes, I was like, I'm going to send everyone a thank you note. And you guys, if you have time to send your loyal customers a thank you note, do it, because like they love it. And to this day, like if I still have a moment, like I try really hard to do it. But no, I do have continuous conversation with them, and I never ever delete their like messages, so they're constantly populated into my algorithm. But another way that I communicate with them is I have a loyal customer page. Originally it started, like I totally overcomplicated it. Originally it started as, this is gonna be like my Fat Fighter customer page, this is gonna be my this is gonna be, I was like separating them out. And then one day I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, A, this is too much work. And B, like, if I could put them all together and they could all be seeing, like, if the Fat Fighter people could be seeing the cleanse results and the greens customers are talking about how much better they feel, and, we're all here together and encouraging each other, then that's going to be just a really great environment that's encouraging for them to have that accountability, and also to have this kind of safe zone where they can vent and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know, gained weight, or I didn't. And then like we can talk through that. It was something of value that I could provide them beyond like the product. And just another way to kind of support them with a result and accountability. So from there, I'm able to go in there and post an encouraging quote. I'm able to go in there and post like a healthy recipe. I can go in there and say, all right, who wants to know their perk points total or whatever, and they can come in and they can comment, and I'm able to let them know, like because at the end of each month, right, we want them to know their perk points to go in and redeem that. So I'm able to make kind of like one big post there. As for like the end of their 90 days, I have a planner. I'm a handwritten person. That's how, it's like a hot mess. It looks like another language, but it works for me. Whatever works for you. I have some people that set reminders in their phone. I do use the tool in Facebook Messenger right now. If you type in next Tuesday, then you can click Tuesday and it'll set a reminder. So for example, I set up a loyal customer on greens last week, and I said, okay, when your greens arrive, I want you to let me know, and we'll go from there. And I always kind of bounce it back into their court, because I want to be there for them as much or as little as they want me to be. Some people want to talk to us every day. Some people want to talk to us never, okay? So if they don't let me know that their product arrives, that is one of two things. They're already in the group page, so they know they can see and communicate with me there. But if they don't let me know that their product arrives, and then in a month they come to me and they're like, this ThermoFit is not working for me, I can be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you had received it, and we didn't go over the ways to optimize your results. So like, bam, I'm putting it like right back in their court, and it gives me another opportunity to coach them through the best way to use their products. And so that way, again, I'm setting them up for success. They have some sort of accountability and encouragement for me, and we're able to walk through again and figure out, the best product for them. But on the team page, they in turn start sharing and selling, not intentionally, but by sharing their results with each other and other loyal customers, they end up cross-selling their own products. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then they become friends, and then they're adding each other on Facebook, and then they're commenting on each other's likes and things, and we become this like community. And to me, that's just another way to like elevate what makes it work special, because of the way that we love and care people. And now even my loyal customers are doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a team page, but I don't utilize it very often. I mean, I post like the BOGO sales and stuff just because it's a good way to do it, but I think I need to do more as far as like adding value or what people would see as value.
Well, and it doesn't have to be like, it does not have to be crazy complicated. I tell my team this too. Certainly nothing that's like required, because I want it to be as duplicatable as it can be. And I tell new distributors too, hey, if you're adding a loyal customer and you're posting a 90, because like how many times have you guys had this happen? You're like, 90-day challenge, somebody messaged you. What's the challenge? Take my product. Like, okay, well, that's not a challenge, is it? So by saying in a 90-day challenge, when they reach out to me, I say to them, I add you to a private support group where you can communicate with me and other loyal customers regularly. So they have an option to opt out if they want to. And I say also in here, you'll receive the best updates of sales and promotions. I share healthy recipes that I use. I also share those things on my public page. The benefit of it being in the group page is they're going to receive those notifications, as opposed to if they missed it, just scrolling on my Facebook without going directly to my page. And I tell them, like, as soon as I add them to the group, now make sure when you go into the group to go to the top of the page, hit settings, all notifications, turn on to receive all notifications. So you'll be able to see when I'm adding, new recipes or any information that may be, of value to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that helps some.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit about customers. What about your distributors? Like, how do you, because I think we probably all run into, where you sign a distributor and you help them get their first customers, whether it's placing them or whatever, and then, you don't hear from them, or they just don't want to do anything. So how do you get your distributors motivated and feel like, they want to actually do this for themselves? And
right. Well, I think that the anticipation of just knowing that, like, there are going to be some people that A, don't get it, or B, like, they're just comfortable in being uncomfortable wherever they're at in life, and you can't want it for them. That was hard for me in the beginning. It was really hard for me. I just couldn't understand, like, you have all this opportunity and you're not doing anything about it. So first and foremost, understand, like, it's not personal. It's not. Every single one of us deal with that. But the greatest way to, in my opinion, to completely divert that from happening is to be, particular about who you're encouraging to join your business to begin with. Don't be desperate. It is a business. It is a business that you own and that you run. If you don't think someone would be a superstar in your business, don't tell them that you think they would be a superstar. Does that mean that there will not be someone who comes along and totally blow your mind? No, that's not what that means. But it means don't go beg someone to join your business, because if you have to beg them to join your business, you will have to beg them to work. And if you have to beg them to work, an empty box is better than a box with a name in it that you've invested in and that's just sitting there. It becomes like an unhealthy relationship. Like, you don't want to break up because you have hope for the future, but like, there's no reason to keep hanging on. So I tell some of my team members, I'm like, I know it's going to be painful, but rip that mess off like a Band-Aid and like press forward. Because that moment when you like let go of trying to force something, then that allows like the right person to come in. I saw this quote and I shared it with my husband too, but it said something like, God sends us exactly what we need when we're trusting and willing to let go of what we don't need. And so like, when you think about it, like when you're clinging so tightly to something that's not supposed to be there, the right thing can't come until you let go. So whenever I enroll someone, I give everyone the same opportunity. I give everyone the same, this is where we start. This is what we do. Do you want a one-on-one with me? I would love to get you on the phone. I would love to meet you for a coffee. I try really hard to connect with them within that first 24 to like 72 hours. Like I want to be in front of them and I want us to have some type of relationship, whether it be a Zoom or on the phone. Some people are like, girl, I will call you right now. And it can be like midnight and we talk, and that's cool. Like I get really excited about those people. There are going to be other people that don't. And that's okay too, because I didn't quite understand what I had my hands on in the beginning either. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know how much time it would or wouldn't take. I thought I was too busy. I thought I can't maximize this. So I have to be patient and understand everyone's at a different point in their journey. There are going to be some that take off running and I will run with them. There are going to be some that want to sit and process for a while, and in a month they might start running, and that's fine. But I think it's important to be organized and upfront in the beginning, give everyone the same opportunity and information, the same time and attention when you enroll them. It's super important to understand what they want out of this business, because as you're enrolling them, if they're telling you, well, I guess I'll join as a distributor because I really want that discounted box of wraps, and I really want to be able to get commission on my own product. Or, you know, I mean, like if they're already saying those kinds of things, that I don't really have a lot of time to work the business, but I might try one day. You guys don't go box them for diamond. Like, don't do that, because guess what? Like, it's not going to happen. And don't overthink placement. This is something that was huge to me. It was a hard lesson that I learned with 999. One of our presidential diamonds told me this, but she was like, Lauren, cream rises to the top. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're so right. Like, you're so right. That's so smart. So don't overthink, like, when you're placing people, and try to force whoever's at the top into being at the top, because someone under them might be working. So invest in those that are working. Run with those that are running, and like love on everybody else. So I know I go all over the place with enrollments. I hope that helps and how I set them up for success, or I try to. Yeah. But you can't want it for them.
Right. Okay, so we're getting close to an hour. So wrapping up, what are your best tips, whether it's for, you know, people just getting started? Like, is there something that you wish you would have known in the beginning that you know now, or just any words of wisdom as we...
Yes. Know that it's real. Like, it's real. The opportunity is real. The time is real. I can't tell you, like, when I say I used to work 90 hours a week, I couldn't pick my daughter up from school. I missed birthday parties. I missed weddings. I was in my own home, but did not see my family. And when you hear people talking about, like, I'm with my kid right now and we're working, like, that's real, you guys. And I didn't believe it. I didn't even believe it a month into the business. I don't know why. I guess we live in such like this negative little bubble, or I think like, well, they got lucky. And you guys, where we're lucky is that an opportunity like this exists. But every single one of us are lucky in that manner. But the difference between, you know, those that are sitting on their like couch right now, like thinking that like I rolled the dice or got lucky, or Lindsay rolled the dice or got lucky, or your ambassador or whatever did. It's not that. It's simply a matter of effort. It's a matter of effort and keeping it really, really simple. The steps to success, focus on them. That's all that I did in the beginning. I could never fill it out for those first 3 weeks because I couldn't get a distributor, but I would just keep moving my customers on. I didn't know how many I needed to make back my you know, investment money. But I just knew that I joined this business because I needed to make money, and to make money, I needed to sign loyal customers. It's that simple. We have amazing tools that are in place. We have incredible leaders that pour into you. Utilize them. Utilize that, because I guess I just didn't know what I had my hands on. And if I had known then, holy moly, I don't know. I I probably would have not slept, not for working, but I would
I
have
don't know
not
if you could have gone any faster. So
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I don't know what I would have done or how I would have done it faster. Put your blinders on, figure out like how bad you really want it, what it can mean for your family. You guys, like tonight, and it changes every time. And I know that we're going into an hour, but like tonight, my daughter, she loves Food Network. And she was like, oh, Mom, we were watching where the kids were on. And she was like, Mom, I really want to be able to take cooking classes one day. Like I would really like to be able to go to a culinary school, like where those kids go. And we were like, oh, how cool would that be to like go to Europe and actually, because so many of those kids had done that. And, like to think, oh my gosh. And so at first, like in my mind, I was like, oh wow, that would be so cool. When those kids must be so lucky. And then like those words didn't come out of my mouth. Like, but I looked at her and I was like, I'm going to put that on the goal board. Like we're going to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And to be able to say that to your 9-year-old, you guys, like that's amazing to say, okay, like you want to do that? Let's do it. Mm-hmm. But that's real. It is so real if you just put in a little bit of effort and patience. I'm having to learn it too, but it's there at your fingertips.
I love it. Yeah. I think for me too, I mean, in the beginning, like my desire, I was working full time and I had a 1-year-old son and I was pregnant with my daughter and I wanted so bad to stay home. So I, was willing to do anything and everything to get there. And, this was way outside my comfort zone. I'm very shy and introverted. And I had tried a business before this a while back and was horrible, like wasn't successful at all. So, but I desired to stay home so bad that was my driving force. And I think then when I got to stay home, then I wouldn't say like sat back and I want to promote like to the next level. Every time I promote, I want to get the next level. But I think for me, it took, making a new dream board and like increasing those dreams to something that you physically can't do by yourself. You have to have, faith in the business and in yourself. And so I think just continuing to put those dreams out and making them visible, because if not, then it's easy to get comfortable where you're at. And, I met my first goal of being able to stay home. So, so I think that's huge as far as like, continuing to put those dreams out there and making them visible and making them almost unreachable. So that, you continue to push yourself and yeah. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I know that you have so much going on right now, and
I'm happy to.
Does anyone have any questions before Lauren goes? You can put them in the chat.
Anyone?
Or I can unmute you too, I guess. Oops. I don't know what I did. Okay, everyone's unmuted if you have a question that you want to ask real quick before Lauren goes.
People are always afraid of questions. I don't know why. Did you learn